Most people say they want to be noticed. They chase followers, likes, compliments, audience, visibility. But the truth is, not everyone can handle what comes after being seen. For some minds, attention doesn't feel exciting. It feels like exposure, and exposure feels like danger. Not physical danger, psychological danger. The danger of being judged, evaluated, misunderstood, or rejected. People who fear attention learned early that visibility has consequences. Maybe they were teased for how they looked. Maybe they were criticized for speaking up. Maybe their achievements became competition. Maybe adults compared them to others. Or maybe nobody ever encouraged them to take space. So they adapted. They stopped raising hands in class. They kept opinions to themselves. They learned how to shrink. This wasn't a choice. It was a survival strategy. When the nervous system experiences social attention as a threat, it doesn't care about confidence, goals, or potential. It cares about safety. That's why people with fear of attention often avoid birthday surprises, public praise, group introductions, presentations, compliments, cameras, spotlights, leadership roles, center positions. Not because they don't qualify, but because being seen activates self-protection mode. They start thinking, what are they expecting from me? What if I mess up? What if they're judging me? What if I disappoint someone? What if I become a target? What if I can't hide anymore? Nobody teaches us that attention carries pressure, because attention isn't just eyes, it's expectations. Once you're visible, you can be evaluated. Once you're evaluated, you can fail. Once you fail, you can lose status, reputation, approval, belonging. Things the brain treats like survival resources. That's why fear of attention isn't really about attention. It's about risk management. Attention equals responsibility. Responsibility equals pressure. Pressure equals vulnerability. Vulnerability equals risk. So some minds avoid the entire equation. But here's the interesting twist. People who fear attention are usually extremely observant. They study how social dynamics work. They see power shifts, ego battles, status games, subtle judgments. They understand how fragile reputation can be. That awareness makes them cautious, not weak. While everyone else rushes into the spotlight, they analyze the cost of standing there. And you'd be surprised. Some of the most creative, talented, intelligent people stay in the background, not because they can't shine, but because shining has consequences. They don't want applause without anonymity. They don't want visibility without safety. They don't want recognition without control. Fear of attention creates a strange paradox. They want to be understood, but don't want to be seen. They want connection, but not exposure. They want appreciation, but not the spotlight. So they stay in environments where they can exist quietly, speak selectively, and share when it feels safe. And here's the deeper part nobody talks about. Fear of attention is often rooted in the belief that being visible means being responsible for others' perception. If they laugh, you must be funny. If they compliment, you must maintain it. If they admire you, you must not disappoint. If they notice you, you must perform. That's not attention, that's obligation. Some people don't fear being ignored. They fear becoming an expectation. They fear being someone others talk about. They fear becoming a topic instead of a person. They fear losing the freedom to be imperfect. The world tells you to put yourself out there, but nobody teaches how to handle what happens once you do. So here's the truth. Not everyone who stays silent is insecure. Some people just value privacy, autonomy, control, and peace more than visibility. They don't want to impress strangers. They want to survive themselves. Fear of attention doesn't mean you lack potential. It means you're calculating the cost of being seen. And sometimes, staying in the shadow is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of awareness. Because once the world pays attention, it never stops watching.